What's up, Dolphins representatives? It's TBF here, and I'm your host, Dave Wave, here to start the new year off with a new episode. Happy New Year to everybody, to each and everyone that subscribed to the channel, all of the Dolphins across the world. I got resolutions. I know y'all got resolutions, and the Dolphins need to make resolutions on what to correct on defense and special teams and how to overcome injuries on both sides of the ball. We played most of the year with some of our key players like Nick Needham, who was great against the run. Byron Jones, I think he'll be better against deep passes as far as avoiding pass interference penalties. He don't get a lot of picks, but, he plays with great technique. And, who's to say that Xavier Howard's play hasn't suffered from him not being in there? Armstead's been in and out, and I don't know what to say about the signing after looking at this season as far as how he's been hurt and how the offense looks vastly different with him not in there. When T-Stead not in the game, don't get me wrong, I think Greg Little and whoever we brought in there, our O-line coach has done a good job of having them follow their assignments in the run game. It got better and progressed throughout each week. Stewsville, I think he's done a better job with getting the running game going, him and Mike McDaniel. And even the pass protection. The pass protection, I think, has been better this year than maybe last year. And I don't even think last year it was as bad as a lot of the fans were saying that it was. But he's been injured, and we haven't been able to rely on him being in there week in and week out. And, safety Brandon Jones being out, Boyer ran a lot of exotic safety pressures with him last year. And depending on how we end this season, I think the list can get even longer. I toasted up with the fam on New Year's thinking that we was going to start the new year off right, and we end up losing to the Patriots. And I'm going to give y'all the recap of the Week 17 loss at Gillette Stadium in the cold in a minute. But first, I want to address the scare in that Buffalo game Monday night against the Bengals that we saw live on television. This was an anticipated game. It was competitive until, Buffalo Bills defensive back Damar Hamlin collapsed on the field, in an exchange with a player in a tackle. And, the game was officially suspended for about an hour after the incident and about 30 minutes after he was sent to the University of Cincinnati Medical Center. And I don't know what it is about their stadium or about this field. It's just been bad luck on this field this season. And not to mention probably other seasons in the past. I don't know. I mean, Tua got injured, and his injury even looked real scary. I mean, all the players were circled around him, just like how they was with Damar. And, I mean, it's just been bad luck on the Bengals field. But, the medical center officials haven't given us an update on Hamlin's condition as of Tuesday afternoon, but the Bills did say, that he spent Monday night in intensive care in ICU and remained in critical condition. So prayers up for him and his family, and hopefully we get some good news on the young warrior. But back to the recap of the loss. The final score was 21-23, but it was already over with 3 minutes left in the fourth. That third touchdown really didn't matter, in my opinion. And now our playoff hopes is, 50-50. It's in the air. We got to get help next week. We'll see what happens with this Bills-Patriots game. The Bills-Bengals game first. We'll see how they're going to, I don't know how they're going to work this out. And, there's been no news on how they're going to play that game. But the Bills-Patriots game is going to be important. I think the Bills can win that game, but we got to beat the Jets still. And even though they already eliminated Saleh, he might encourage the team to try to play spoiler and, stop us from getting in. This game could possibly determine also the long-term fate of Mike McDaniel. Even though we just, hired him as the new coach, he might be one and done if we lose to the Jets. I mean, that is a possible reality. And it's also going to be revealing for Skylar Thompson if he ends up starting this game. And I'm going to tell y'all why. Because right now the Jets got a quarterback problem on their hand. Zach Wilson has been a bust. And, Mike White, a lot of fans think he's been playing better. Even though he's not the answer, he's still been playing better than Zach. And, if Skylar ends up starting this game, because I think he should start, because Teddy Bridgewater is just, a lot of fans think he's unmotivated. And they think he looks like a black Jay Cutler out there, just looking uninterested and unenthused in the game. If Skylar ends up starting and Mike White starts for the Jets and we lose, we got our answer for if Skylar should be even a scout team stasher or a third string player for us, because Mike White is also, not a high draft pick player. And if all this hype we had about Skylar in the preseason, and don't get me wrong, he did look good, he better win this game if Mike White is playing. If we're going to be even thinking about keeping him on the roster. People was talking about him starting over Tua. I mean, the hate was ridiculous early, after preseason. So it's going to be pretty revealing. He lose this game, he might as well go try to play in the CFL or the XFL or the USFL or some shit like that, because that'll pretty much mean he's not ready for the NFL. And I mean, people, if we lose this game against the Jets, people will end up saying that all the money spent on adding all these pieces for Mike McDaniel, all the points scored, everything about him being a boy wonder and a genius is not going to matter, because it's going to end up being the same results that we got from Gase and from Flores, which is a mediocre 8-8 season with 6 or more losses, and it's just, y'all got to think about it. If we go 8-9, think about the fact that Flores was able to squeeze 5 games out of that 2019 roster with waiver wire players. This would only mean it was only a 3-game increase with the cheetah on this squad. That is not good enough. And like I said, that could potentially mean one and done for Mike McDaniel. Remember, Sean Payton is out there, and a lot of fans are clamoring for us to maybe try to open that door and see if Sean Payton, maybe try to entice him to try to be the head coach next year if we don't get it done. But this loss against the Patriots was revealing as far as what we need to address on defense in the offseason, regardless what happens against the Jets. Our defense may need to rely more on 4-man pressures instead of these exotic looks all the time, because teams have kind of figured out how to expose us and expose the weakness, especially with our injuries. And, this loss also revealed how bad our special teams unit is. The players on the unit are good, but Jason Sanders is not clutch, and we need a clutch kicker. That's what we need. Punter Thomas Morstead has been clutch, and, he's been accurate all year. Our return unit was much better this game with Mostert back there. He did have some good runs, but he's not dynamic enough as a returner. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Should we consider maybe trying to reach back out and seeing if we could get Jakeem Grant back on this team? I mean, the role that we had him in, we was trying to make him a poor man's Tyreek Hill, but now that we have the real Tyreek Hill on the team, we don't need him for that. We could have him as just a dedicated returner, maybe pay him like $5 million or maybe $4 million just for that role, and maybe rotate him in as a backup to Tyreek, or maybe even on some reverses or gadget plays. I wouldn't mind that option. Y'all let me know what y'all think about that. And, we also saw this game the importance of having a wily backup veteran quarterback that you could trust. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater and Skylar are not the answer at backup, and when you think about the teams that won here, Shula had Earl Morrall as a backup. Greasy was injured. He was damn near injury prone quarterback, but Earl won some games for us. So we need somebody that could step in and do that. I mean, the one thing about Flores was he was smart enough to know I need to get a veteran quarterback if I'm going to build for the future. The only thing is that Fitz, and if Fitz would have accepted the role of just being a transitional quarterback, a bridge quarterback, things would have been much easier for Flores, because he is the kind of backup that you need. He's somebody that's going to win you 5 or 6 games. He's experienced, he's savvy, and at times, he got that pit bull in him to where, he gonna ride or die on the field and scramble. He's gonna slide. He's gonna make magic, and I believe in Fitz magic, but he's a transitional quarterback. That's all he is. I know y'all want to try to prop him up as a great Dolphins quarterback. He made a lot of turnovers, and he was the reason why we went 3-3. Like I told y'all before, Flores had no choice but to explore the options of starting Tua. And I would say when Coach named Tua to start against the Rams, that's when, there was already some noise from, people that was covering the team, but it got worse once we named him the starter. And I wouldn't be surprised if Fitzpatrick leaked or gave intel to Colin Cowherd and media members about us, but that's for another video. I wouldn't be surprised. That could have helped him get a job, for Amazon Prime, being a part of the media now, but, that's whatever. But he was the best backup we had since Matt Moore. You can count on him, like I said, for at least 5 games. We haven't had nobody reliable since he left. Brissett looked good for the Browns this season, and I was mad because I'm like, why? Some of the plays he made with the Browns, it's like, why you didn't do this when Tua got hurt and we put you in then? And so that's something that got to be addressed. Mistakes hurt us in this game. Teddy got injured, and number 19 had to finish the game, and this game just looked the same way it looked, when we played against the Jets and Teddy got injured then. Both of them looked limited. I thought Teddy played decent in the first quarter, but some of the things that I noticed in Teddy's game that maybe has been limiting his potential ever since he came into the league is that it just seemed like he checks down to the receiver at times once he finishes his drop. And, it's like, dog, pick your head up. Look down the field. Scan down the field. There was a play this game where Tyreek was open for a bomb and he didn't find him, and yeah, I know you play textbook and you play cautious, and that's good, but sometimes you can play too cautious to the point where it may be predictable for some of these DBs, and it may allow them to be able to jump some of these routes for gimme picks. So there's some limits with Teddy. And then we also saw limits with Skylar. He got to improve his ball placement, throwing behind the receivers, not leading them on yak plays. And, if he going, like I said, if he going to be a legit stasher on the practice squad, we can't be having no teacher's pet like Pat Devlin was to Adam Gase. I don't care if you're going to be on a scout team, third string, we got to be able to know that if whoever we have in there, whether it's Tua or even another quarterback, you got to be reliable, and you got to be able to have some qualities where we could use you in simulation to try to mimic other quarterbacks that like to scramble or that like to have specific type of offenses. But here's my big fish ballers of the week list for week 17. I got Raheem Mostert on the list. He played with heart this game. Connor Williams, the center, Christian Wilkins, Jalen Phillips. Also got Zach Sile on the list again. Elandon Roberts is definitely on the list. And Thomas Morstead is on the list. Also Javon Holland. Next game, like I said, we got the Jets just in the season. In their season, Let's hurry up and get rid of them. I believe we can beat the Jets. We're going to get in the playoffs. Tua's going to come back, and the revenge tour is going to continue. Best believe it. That's just what I feel. That's what I got in my gut. I feel that in my gut, in my chest. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Do y'all think we're going to beat the Jets? Do you think we're going to get in the playoffs? If we do get in the playoffs, are we going to win in the first round? I believe we're going to do that. And, 9-8, that'll be a winning season. It's not 11, but it's 9. And if we could win one game in the playoffs, it will be the start of a new era, a possible new era for Mike McDaniel as the head coach of the Miami Dolphins. If we lose the game to the Jets, it could possibly be the search for another coach. And that's just what it is. But y'all let me know what y'all think about that as well. Till next time, signing off. The Big Fish Network, fins up, baby.